Scary Ghost Stories. Mady A. from BuzzFeed Unsolved Network audience. In 2015, I went on a trip to DC for the 4th of July with my family. This was our second trip to DC, so we decided to take the last day of our trip, the 4th of July, to go visit Mount Vernon, George Washington's estate in Virginia. It was the middle of the day, scorching hot, and there was absolutely no air conditioning in the house, aside from a few fans placed sparingly. I'm a huge history buff, so I was very excited about touring the home and knew a lot about George Washington and his state previously. So I knew that he had passed away in his bedroom in 1799. But that is definitely not what I was thinking about when our tour guide led our group upstairs to go see the said bedroom. His bedroom had a lot of really delicate artifacts in it, so we weren't allowed to go inside, and there were little plastic barriers preventing us from doing so. But you could stick your head into the room and look around. For some reason, I was the only one in the group who decided to take a look. When I stuck my head into the room, I was immediately struck by how absolutely freezing cold it was in there. And I don't mean that there was a light breeze. It was as if I had stuck the upper half of my body into a walk-in freezer. I was confused by this because there didn't seem to be any air conditioning in the room. So I looked around to try and see if there was a fan or an AC unit that I just wasn't noticing it. But I didn't see one. I decided to take my head out of the room and ask our tour guide why it was so cold in there. But then I realized that I couldn't move. I was paralyzed from the waist up. Every part of my body that was in the room was completely stuck in place. I struggled to pull out, but couldn't. I started to panic and tried to open my mouth to call for help. But when I opened my mouth, no sound came out. All of a sudden, from the other side of the room, where there was a little piece of furniture, a mirror and a water basin, probably where Washington washed his face and shaved in the morning, I felt what I can describe as nothing other than a pair of eyes staring at me. Almost like the sensation of someone staring at you while you sleep. I didn't see a figure or anything, but I felt this huge and intimidating presence walk toward me and stare me down. It was horrifying, and I physically could not tell you how much time passed in that moment, because it really felt like it could have been an hour, but I guess it was only a few seconds. After a while, I finally broke free from my paralysis and almost fell backward onto my butt. My mom asked me what was wrong, and I told her that I wanted to leave. She didn't believe me when I told her the story later, but it still scares me to this day. Shane R. from BuzzFeed Unsolved Network audience. One night when I was in 7th grade, I had two friends sleeping over and we were in my basement. My brother, who was 7 at the time, had bought himself a new Furby and got bored of it after a few weeks. Then it sat untouched in the basement closet. As you may know, Furbies sometimes begin to talk when they are moved, but they only speak gibberish, not English. This night, it was around 4 a.m. We had all the lights out and it was silent. We were laying down to go to bed, and out of nowhere we hear this Furby's voice say, "Come play with me," and then it laughed. At the time, I didn't know it didn't speak English, so we wrote it off and went to bed. To my horror, in the morning when I checked on it, not only does it not speak English, it also had no batteries. Chai B. from BuzzFeed Unsolved Network audience. I was a freshman in college in the Philippines. It was late at night, and my friends and I were on our way home after watching a play at one of the campus theaters. As we were nearing the College of the Education building, I looked up to the sky and saw a woman jump from the topmost floor. I told my friends, and we ran over to the front lawn of the building to help the woman. But when we got there, the woman was gone. The guard came rushing over to us because I was so loud about it. My friends didn't see her because I was the only one who felt the urge to look up. The guard calmed me down from near hysteria, then told me that I must have seen the ghost of a woman who had jumped to her death from that building years ago, because it was the anniversary of her death.